Welcome and welcome back to Tila Fashion. You guys, I know it has been a while, but I'm back with a new video, and this is going to be a tutorial on this triple layered puff sleeve. So make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, like this video, share to someone that might find it helpful, and let's get right into this tutorial. I'll be using this brown pattern paper to mark out the pattern of the sleeve, and the first thing I'm doing is marking out 5 inches from the top there, and this is going to form the sleeve cap, which is the curvy part at the top of the sleeve. Next thing I'm going to do is to measure out this area here, which is the armhole from my top or my shirt, whatever I'm making, and then I'm just going to keep whatever I get in mind. So for me, I got 10 inches, so I'm going to use 10 inches to form the sleeve cap. So I'm going to first take 3.5 inches so I know where the curve is going to start. So from the 3.5 inches, I can curve out the sleeve cap and mark out 10 inches. But then I'm also going to add 1 inch seam allowance to that to make 11 inches. Next, I'll be going ahead to measure the length of the sleeve. So the actual length of my sleeve is 22 inches, but because this is a triple puff sleeve, you want space for the puff to form. So you're going to go ahead to add some inches to the length. So in this case, I added 5 inches because this is actually a size 6 sleeve. I added 5 inches, and you can go ahead to add about 5 to 10 inches depending on how full you want it to be, because this particular sleeve is not going to be very exaggerated. So I'm going ahead to add 5 inches, and aside that, I also went ahead to add 0.5 inches at the bottom for seam allowance. Next, for how wide I want the sleeve to be, I am taking 12 inches and also 1 inch seam allowance. You could make this as wide as you want it to be depending on how big or how full or how exaggerated you want the sleeve to look. But here I'm taking 12 inches, which is almost 3 times the size of the actual width of my sleeve. So to form each sleeve, I went ahead to divide the length of the sleeve to the closest I could get to 3 equal parts, and I ended up with 10 inches, 17 inches, and 25 inches, leaving about 2 inches at the end there or at the tip of the sleeve to form ruffles. Next, I'll just go ahead to cut the pattern on fabric, and I'm making sure to cut it on fold. And I'm using organza fabric for this. I particularly like organza fabric because it's easy to work with for this style, and it really brings out the style because of how light it is, and at the same time it's kind of stiff. Just so I can make the sewing process easier for me, I'm going to transfer these lines onto the fabric with chalk. Before we start sewing, I'll show you the 2 different types of thread I'll be using. I'll be using the normal sewing thread and also an elastic thread. The elastic thread is going to go under the part that is not visible when you wear the dress, and the normal thread is going to go on top, the parts that you'd see when you wear the dress. And I'm also going to soak the elastic thread in water for about 2 minutes until it is completely wet and soaked. I learned this hack a while ago, and it prevents the elastic thread from breaking while sewing. So the first part that I'm going to sew would be the hem of the sleeve, and I'm sewing it normally with my normal sewing thread, both on top and under. So now I can move over to sew the elastic part of the sleeve, and I'll start by fixing the elastic thread into my shuttle. and at this point it has soaked properly in water, and I'm just hand rolling the elastic thread into the shuttle so it is not too tight or not too loose. At this point, you want to make sure that the right side of the fabric is facing you. So yeah, sewing directly onto the right side of the fabric so the normal sewing thread can be showing on the normal right side of the fabric, and the elastic thread will be under on the wrong side of the fabric. And I'm just going to follow these lines. So this is actually the usefulness of the lines that we drew out with the chalk, or we traced out with the chalk. Now I can follow these lines and sew on a straight line. And I also wanted to mention that I am using a normal sewing shuttle, a normal bobbin, and I am sewing on the lowest tension. This is what I have after sewing the 3 elastic lines. Now I can go ahead to join the 2 sides together with the 1 inch seam allowance that we took earlier on while making the pattern. And I'm going to be sewing with my normal sewing thread both on top and under. So this is the final product. This is what I have now, and I also wanted to add that you could manipulate this style to fit however you want it to look like. It could be 2 layers, it could be 4 layers, it could be without the ruffles at the bottom there, and it could be more exaggerated than this. So from this video tutorial, you could manipulate it to look however you want it to look like. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like this video so the video gets recommended to others on YouTube. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I'll answer them. And also don't forget to share to people you think might find this video helpful. Thank you, and I'm going to see you in my next video.